زميلات وطلاب وطالبات، بيسعدني انه اكون مودريتور لهالجلسه الخامسه بالمؤتمر الرابع لجمعيه المكتبات اللبنانيه. وبحب قبل ما نبدا هذه الجلسه اتوجه بالشكر لجمعيه المكتبات على اصرارها على تنظيم كل سنتين مؤتمر من يمكن احدى افضل المؤتمرات على المستوى الاقليمي من حيث التنظيم، من حيث الحضور، من حيث المشاركه. فشكرا كثير لجمعيه المكتبات واللي على راسها زميلي العزيز الدكتور فوزي عبد الله. بهيدي الجلسه في عندنا 3 ورق. اول ورقه ل دكتور ستيوارت هاملتون اللي رح تكون واكيد هي ورقه مهمه لانها رح تعطينا فكره ورح تعطينا بعتقد يمكن حينطرح اسئله عن مكتبه قطر الوطنيه اللي شكلت ببنائها بعتقد نقله مهمه كثير مش بس لمنطقه قطر لقطر حتى لدول الخليج وللمنطقه العربيه، واللي اخذت بعين الاعتبار كل التوجهات وكل الافكار يلي هي جديده في مجال المكتبات ولنظره المكتبات والافلا للعام 2030. الورقه الثانيه اللي رح ارجع احكي عنهم هي رح تكون كمان هامه جدا ولا شك بمنطقتنا العربيه عن كيفيه حمايه الممتلكات الثقافيه في ظل هذه النزاعات، كمان اكيد رح تكون مهمه وشيقه. والورقه الثالثه كمان مهمه، كمان اخذ بعين الاعتبار الحقيقه هو المهم انه جميع المكتبيين اخذين بعين الاعتبار التطور يلي عم يطرح في مجال المكتبات وشو النظره اللي نحن بدنا اياها من هون للعام 2030 استنادا على الخطوط العريضه يلي وضعتها الإفلا. فالورقه الثالثه كمان اخذ بعين الاعتبار المكتبه الوطنيه بعتقد بالعراق رؤيتهم بال 2030. هيدي الحقيقه موجز عن هودي 3 ورق. بيسعدني انه يبدا معنا دكتور ستيوارت هاملتون اللي هو Deputy Executive Director for International Relations and Communication Qatar National Library. He was also leader and the Secretary General at IFLA, and he were the directed IFLA policy around copyright, human rights, internet, and all about access to information. He holds a PhD in Library and Information Science from the Royal School of Library and Information Science in Copenhagen, Denmark. والتايتل تبع البيبر برزنتيشن اللي رح يعرضها هي حول ناسيونال المكتبة الوطنية لقطر.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's my second visit to Lebanon. I'm extremely pleased to be back, and I'm very grateful to the organisers for inviting me to come and speak about Qatar National Library. I'm the Deputy Executive Director there with responsibility for international relations and communications. But the last year of my life has been taken up with getting the library open. First in a soft opening to the public, which took place in November last year, and then very recently, in April, we had the official opening ceremony, which was a tremendously large party, probably the biggest party I've ever seen in a library, and one that we're very proud of. So today, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the library itself and how it's been designed with innovation very much at its core. Now, before I begin, I wanted to just share with you, in case you weren't aware, the demographics of Qatar. It's a very small Gulf state, which I'm sure you're all familiar with where it is, but it has a population of around about 2.7 million people. And about 330,000 of those people are Qatari nationals, which leaves around 2.4 million expats in the country, and around about 75% of them are men. And I'm mentioning this just to give you an idea of the demographics and the population that the library is serving. And it's also quite important to consider the way that people engage with information in Qatar. It's what I call a leapfrog country. To me, as someone who grew up with accessing the internet through dial-up and sort of very old modems, it seems to me that Qatar has arrived very much in the present with Wi-Fi everywhere, consumption through mobile, and a young population who are extremely savvy with social media and digital information consumption. So it's in this context that I want to talk about the library, which was a dream of Her Highness Sheikha Moza bint Nasser, who's the chairperson of the Qatar Foundation. And she had a dream that she was going to build a new library in the country that was going to act as a catalyst for new information discovery and kickstart a new period of innovation in the country. So what I'm going to do today is just do 5 things. Talk a little bit about Q&A. I'm going to talk about innovation in the building. I'm going to talk about the programs we have in the building. Talk about what I think is one of the key innovative elements of Q&L, and that's the creation of a new library tradition in the country. And then I'm going to talk a little bit, if I can, to link this to the much bigger picture and the Sustainable Development Goals. Quite ambitious, so I hope I can do this in 20 minutes. Now, I think that as the theme of our conference is innovation, the building of this library is innovation at the most fundamental level. The dream was to build a library and introduce a new library service in a country where one didn't really exist before. And this, to me, is very, very key when we talk about innovation. And this was done at a time, let's remember, when the world has been moving very much from print information consumption to digital, and also at a time when many countries, including my own, the United Kingdom, have been cutting library budgets. So to flip this on its head and to say we're going to invest big in a new national library is quite a big gamble, and something I was very much attracted to when I moved to Qatar about a year ago. So this library was constructed from 2012 onwards, and it was officially declared the country's new national library in March this year. Inside, I have to say this is one of the first presentations I've ever done which is mostly photographs. So I figured I was on at lunchtime, so you just wanted something to look at whilst I drone on. Inside, it's not only a stunning building, but it's actually quite a traditional looking library. We have about 1 million books in the building, mostly English and Arabic. We have meeting and study spaces, we have a restaurant and cafeteria, we've got performance spaces, learning workshops, and we have right in the centre of the library there you can see our heritage library, which is built to represent an archaeological dig and is the very fundament of the library itself. It's about 45,000 square metres, so it's a very, very big building, and it serves 3 functions, and this again is where it's quite innovative. It's a national library, so it's looking after the culture, the heritage of the country, and it's preserving that heritage for future generations. It's a research library, so it's helping students, scholars, academics access the information they need through electronic journals and databases to complete their studies and undertake their research. And then, quite importantly, and quite rarely for national libraries, it's a public library as well. So it has a full circulating lending collection. You can become a member, you can borrow books. So these 3 functions mark it out as something quite new in the world of national libraries. And I should point out we also have a children's library, which is also quite rare in national libraries, and a young adults library. Some of you may be familiar with the designer of the building, Rem Koolhaas, who also designed the Seattle Public Library building. And he worked very closely with Sheikha Moza to try to design a building which balanced between the availability of this content and making it accessible, and then preserving it and making it secure for the future on the other hand. And I have to say, it's probably the entrance to the building is just here. Every morning I walk in through there, and I'm not certain I'm ever going to walk in to work in such an interesting place ever again. So the building itself is supposed to embody certain values which are going to encourage innovation. The idea is that when you walk into the building, everything is open in front of you. Nearly all of the library's functions are transparent, so that immediately you as a user, and more importantly for us as librarians and as staff members, are encouraged to think about openness and transparency and really to try to translate that into our work. And in fact, I've heard it said that the building is a challenge to the staff to design open and inclusive programs. And I think that's quite interesting when we see these things connected in the building and our jobs. For me, this is all really down to the space. Now, not all of us can have a 45,000 square metre library, but those of us who do have one, we can use all of this space in a really innovative way. We have a very large central plaza. That's the Heritage Library. I'll come back to that. You can see a really nice overview there of the kind of trenches that the Heritage Library lives in. It's a very beautiful space. But what I want to point out is this plaza area, a large amount of space where we can bring furniture in, take furniture out, we can rearrange the space very, very easily, and we can do whatever we really want to do in that space depending on the programs that we're offering. So we can move our beanbags in, we can have a lot of stuff going on in that space. Right in the middle of the library, we have this huge performance space, and it is literally in the middle of the building. So every month we have the Qatar Philharmonic Orchestra coming into play, but if you look at this next slide, you actually get to see that it's in the middle of the building. So we have this sound dampening curtain around the outside, but these activities are taking place in the library whilst people are doing things off in the rest of the building. So you have these great juxtapositions of events going on whilst everybody is using the services. And I really quite like the fact that sometimes in my office I can hear all of this music as people are practicing for the next concert. We do have a section of the library that has quiet space, so we do have our traditional sort of spaces, but in trying to open up these spaces, we're letting all of the users see what is going on at once, and we're getting people coming to us with ideas about how they want to use the space because they're permanently seeing our programs. Now, to do this and to open up all the space, we've had to remove some of the sort of more visible functions of a library building and embed them into the fabric itself. So everything is self-check-in and self-check-out. You have a book checkout system. You can see over there on the right of the picture, all the books are RFID chipped, so they know where they're going, because when they're returned here on the left of the page, they go into a bespoke book sorting system, which is built into the shelving units itself. So when the books come through the system, they're delivered back out to the shelves where they need to be put back. So those of us who do like to push a trolley around, you now only have to do it for about 2 or 3 metres from the end of that to the bookshelf. But it does mean that everything is very much automated, and it leaves the librarians more time to focus on services and programs. The only problems we've had with this so far are kids returning oversized books. This is the book sorter machine in the basement. We're extremely lucky to have this equipment, and as I say, I'm very glad that it actually works. But I think, and I hope, that all of you will agree that technology does not necessarily just equal innovation. Basically, to contextualise this, the building and the library is still very much about print. It was designed very clearly so that the book itself would be in an elevated position. These shelves are elevated within the library. The primacy of the book is honoured by the architect. These shelves invite people to get in there and to browse around. But nevertheless, we do have a lot of technology. We have a digital exhibitions area where we have 11 giant interactive totems, a bit like giant iPhones, to be honest, where we run digital exhibitions every year. We've just started with one by the British journalist David McCandless called Information is Beautiful. We have the media walls, which I showed earlier on. I don't know if I can go back to that. It's a little bit slow, but we have these great, there it is, media walls. We have 4 of these giant ones. These are actually fully interactive. You can do split screens, and children can play learning games against each other on both sides of the media wall, which is extremely important, as I said, in a country where I think people are swiping phones from literally the moment they're born. It's such a handheld digital country that to have this, this sort of technology is extremely important. We also, to cater for the kids, have a large gaming section with Xboxes and PlayStations. And here you can see a little bit more about those digital elements on the totems that I mentioned. We have a lot of technology which relates to our very cherished library functions. So we've invested quite heavily in digitisation equipment. And we're presently digitising our own collection, as well as bringing in collections from other institutions in Qatar to digitise, and we're open to hearing from anybody that needs our help on digitising their collections. We also have one of the best preservation and conservation laboratories. We're an IFLA designated PAC centre for the Middle East, and again, if you have heritage collections that need to be cared for, or you need us to work with you, we're very open to that. Get us now, because we're at the beginning of our lifespan, so we can get you into the workflow. But probably the best thing that we have in terms of innovative technology is a series of rooms we call our innovation station. We have 3D printing facilities, lots of digital printing, lots of conversion from analog to digital technology. We have a studio for videography and digital photography, which basically can be booked. All of these rooms can be booked by any of our users to learn the skills required to access this technology. We have musical instruments, so we have a recording studio and all that sort of thing. And basically within each of these rooms we have clubs and competitions that can actually, the kids at the weekend can come in and learn how to use them. All of the programs we're running are basically trying to learn from and adapt to the way that young people use these technologies now. So we're constantly trying to update them. We are very young, we've been open 6 months. So there's a long way to go before we actually truly understand what our users want. But we're set up in such a way that we can adapt quite quickly. And then we're doing that from the very, very beginning. We're doing that with the kids' library, and we're basically trying to get the youngsters involved early on. Now, this is a very, very important point. And this is what I want to go on to talk about, this new library tradition that we're trying to build. Qatar is a country with no public library system.
3 minutes, 5 minutes.
Okay, so it's 13 minutes on mine. Okay, where shall I? I think I'll just sort of talk really about how I feel that the greatest innovation in Qatar National Library is the fact that it simply exists. You're talking about building a library system in a country where before there was none, and you're talking about at the same time as the librarians have to learn how to serve our users are learning how to use the library. People are coming in and are unaware that you can borrow a book for free and walk out with it. It's a pretty tremendous look on people's faces when you tell them they can do that. The children's library has 150,000 books, and in the 6 months since we've been open, every single one of them has been borrowed. The need for this facility is huge in a country that actually needs to begin to develop its own historical resources, begin to develop its national narrative, and to decide where it's going to go next. I'm curtailing my presentation quite a lot here, but I'll finish by talking about that big picture. The Qatar National Library has been built as part of, or contributing to, the country's 2030 Vision programme, which is a very coordinated effort at the highest level to move the country away from a reliance on oil and gas towards a more knowledge-orientated economy. So the library sits in the middle of this giant campus with campuses from universities like University College London, Georgetown, Weill Cornell, as a centre of learning. And it's a very conscious decision by the government that it wants to invest in these elements rather than remaining and relying on natural resources. And in that way, it complements very nicely some of the Sustainable Development Goals and the way that we're trying as a planet to move towards these 17 goals. The library complements all sorts of things in relation to cultural heritage information, which is target 11.4, and I think we might talk about that later on. But it does things for women and girls, it does things for education, it helps out in all of the different ways relating to skills development and for employment. So I think I just want to leave you with the fact that yes, we have an innovative library building, it's full of lovely technology, it's full of really wonderful opportunities for us to deliver services. But for me, as I said, the true innovation is the fact that they're starting a library tradition now in Qatar, and they're going to try and build that, standing on the shoulders of everybody here in our community that has developed programs in the past. And I guess that's the thing that makes me most excited about Qatar National Library. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the excellent presentation. شفنا تجربة رائعة ورائدة جدا بالمكتبة الوطنية بقطر، واللي أكيد رح تنعكس على دولة قطر كلها على المستوى الاجتماعي والاقتصادي والثقافي. ونتأمل نحن بعد إن شاء الله قبل المؤتمر القادم يكون عندنا تجربة عم تتقدم عن المكتبة الوطنية بلبنان. البرزنتيشن الثاني بيجي لحضرة العميد الركن نعيم زيادي رئيس اللجنة اللبنانية للدرع الأزرق، محاضر وعضو في المعهد الدولي للقانون الإنساني ودورات عديدة، قام بدورات عديدة في بغداد وأدين من 2009 ل 2014، حائز على شهادات من معهد الأمم المتحدة للدراسات والتعليم، وعضو اللجنة الوطنية هيدي اللي أهم شيء هي عضو اللجنة الوطنية المكلف بتنفيذ معاهدة لاهاي 1954. يا ريت هلا تخبرنا بهالمعاهدة هيدي شو عم يصير، كيف عم يقدروا يحفظوا بظل هالنزاعات الممتلكات الثقافية. وأخيرا حائز على دبلوم دراسات استراتيجية من جامعة تشينغوا من الصين من بكين. تفضل.
مرحبا. يمكن هالمحاضرة نتفة خارجة عن سياق المحاضرات اللي شفتوها. هي محاضرة رح تحكي عن حماية الممتلكات الثقافية بالنزاع المسلح. الممتلكات الثقافية نحن بنعرف انه المكتبات هي ضمن الممتلكات الثقافية، مشان هيك المحاضرة هي موجودة هلا معكم وانت نحكي عن حماية الممتلكات الثقافية بالنزاع المسلح. حماية الممتلكات الثقافية بالنزاع المسلح ما بتبلش لما بتنزل القذيفة أو ما بتبلش لما بتصير المشكلة. المفروض يكون في عندنا تحضير لهالعمل هيدا، والتحضير هيدا رح نشوف وين بيصير وكيف بدنا نعمله. في عندنا 5 أو 6 معاهدات بيحكوا عن حماية الممتلكات الثقافية بالنزاع المسلح. في عندنا 3 بيحكوا فقط عن الممتلكات الثقافية، بينما عندنا الاتفاقية جنيف الأربعة وبروتوكولين إذا عندنا 3 معاهدات بيحكوا فقط عن الممتلكات الثقافية وحمايتها أثناء النزاع المسلح، وعندنا اتفاقية جنيف الأربعة بيحكوا ببعض المواد عن حماية الممتلكات الثقافية، كما وأنه البروتوكولين الأول والثاني الملحقين باتفاق جنيف كمان في ارتيكلات معينين بيحكوا عن حماية الممتلكات الثقافية. آليات حماية التراث العالمي، في عندنا اتفاقية لاهاي، عندنا 126 بلد مصادق عليها اللي هي بتحكي عن حماية الممتلكات الثقافية أثناء النزاع المسلح، وعندنا معاهدة التراث العالمي، وهون الناس كثير بتختلط عليهم الامور بين باتريمون مونديال اذا كان هالموقع هو تحت التراث العالمي او محمي باتفاقيه لاهاي. في فرق بطريقه الحمايه بين المعاهدتين، بين التراث العالمي وبين لاهاي، وفي فرق بفقدان الحمايه، يعني حتى بالتراث العالمي ممكن اي موقع يفقد يمو من لائحه التراث العالمي لسبب معين، كما وانه بلاهاي كمان في أسباب ممكن تفقد هالموقع الحماية كمان لأسباب معينة، والأسباب مختلفة بين الاتفاقيتين. حماية الممتلكات الثقافية بالنزاع المسلح، في عندنا هالشارطة بتشوفوها قدامكم، هاي الشارة الحماية العامة، وهيدي الشارة هي حماية خاصة، وعندنا هالشارة الحماية المميزة. نحن الجمعية تبعنا ما جايبها حتى هون، اوكي. اذا هالشعار الحمايه العامه هذا نحن رح نسعى له انه نحطه باماكن الاثريه على المحلات، وهذا هالشعار هذا مش بس تيحمي انه والله الطيران انه يقصف او ما يقصف، مش هيدي الفكره، لان ما عاد عندنا طيران واحد بيطلع من الشباك الطيار جاي طيرني. هيدي الاشاره هيدي معموله للجيش الوطني، للناس الوطنيين اللي عايشين، يعني بيجي واحد صار في عندنا مشكله بمحل معين، يمكن يجي العسكري بالليل يطلع على درج اثري، ما بيعرف اذا اثري ولا مش اثري، او يمكن اي شخص عم بينظف الاثرات يقيم البلاط معه، اذا لازم يعرف انه هيدي بهالشاره هي حمايه عامه لازم تنحط على كل الاماكن الاثريه او موضوعه بالجرد في لائحه الجرد الاثري بوزاره الثقافه، المفروض يكون محطوطه هالشاره هيدي. نحن عم نسعى نحقق هالشارات هيدي ونحطها. هيدي الحمايه الخاصه لها بروتوكول خاص للعمل. اذا بلد رفع بده حمايه خاصه لاي موقع من المواقع اللي عنده، بيعمل طلب على اليونسكو، اليونسكو تدرس اثناء الاجتماعات السنويه، بقول مثلا لبنان مقدم طلب يحمي هالمنطقه هيدي حمايه خاصه، بصير في جدال بقلب الجلسه، وبعدين اذا قرروا مضبوط لازم يحموها، بيعمموا هالحمايه هيدي على كل بلدان العالم، انه يعرفوا انه هالمنطقه هيدي صارت محميه اثناء النزاع المسلح، ممنوع اي طرف يرمي عليها او يحتمي فيها لتكون محميه. وهي الحمايه المميزه رح نحكي عليها، هيدي بنحكي عنها بالبروتوكول الثاني باتفاقيه لها. هيدي اللجنه الوطنيه لتنفيذ اتفاقيه لهاي، نحن لبنان صادق من 60 سنه على اتفاقيه لهاي، لغايه 2012 ما كنا نفذنا شيء من الاتفاقيه، يعني بعد 50 سنه ما نفذنا شيء. قمنا بمجهود، عملت مكتوب لرئاسه الوزراء، اجت الموافقه انه انشاء لجنه، انشأوا لجنه مش باين، انا والدكتور اسعد سيف من وزاره الثقافه وسفير من الخارجيه لتطبيق هالاتفاقيه هيدي. على اثرها احنا رفعنا لائحه ب 15 موقع بلبنان لحمايته حمايه خاصه. والدراسه هيدي معموله هي بوزاره الثقافه واخذت اراء، وبعد لهلا للاسف بعد ما رفعت لليونسكو. مهمه الدول ادراج مضمون المعاهدات في برامج التدريب العسكري والمدني، يعني هالاتفاقيه معموله من 60 سنه، المفروض تكون كلكم شفتوها بكتبكم بالكتب السنويه او الجامعات، شو هي الممتلكات الثقافيه وكيفيه الحفاظ عليها. اذا هون في عندنا اجبار للدوله مش اختياري، مجبور الدوله صادقت على اتفاقيه لهاي، لازم تحط هالاتفاقيه بالبرامج المدنيه والعسكريه، تحطها تدرجها، يعني انت عم تكتب عم تقرا بكتب التربيه او بكتب ما بعرف شو، لازم تشوف في عندك شيء اسمه تراث وطني، كيف تحافظ عليه، كيف ممنوع تعمل هالشيء او مسموح تعمل الشيء الاخر. كمان عنده المفروض تعمل الدولة إعداد أقسام أو إخصائيين وإلحاقهم بالقوات المسلحة، يعني هن منهم عسكريين، ممكن يكونوا بوزارة الثقافة، بس بحال صار في أي مشكل أي حدث أمني أو حرب، مفروض هالأشخاص هودي بيروحوا على وزارة الدفاع ويلفتوا نظر القيمين إنه هيدي ممتلك ثقافي، تحرك بده يكون فيه بهالطريقة مش بهالطريقة، بدنا نحافظ عليه. البروتوكول الثاني هو اللي بيحكي عن الحماية المميزة، وهذا الشعار تبعه اللي شايفينه ما رح نحكي كثير. كمان عمل اقتراح الانضمام للبروتوكول الثاني بهاللجنة اللي شفتوها قبل، وبعض الاقتراح بعد ما رفع ما صار في قانون أجازه مجلس النواب للوزارة بأنها تصادق على الاتفاقية هذه. أحكام خاصة بشارة الحماية، وضع شارة الحماية خاص وضروري، يوضع على الممتلكات الثقافية وعلى وسائل النقل، يعني نحن أثناء الحرب أو أثناء أي كارثة طبيعية أو من صنع الإنسان، مفروض الآليات اللي عم تنقل القطع الأثرية من مكان لآخر مفروض تكون حاطة هالشعار هذا اللي شفتوه بالأول على الشاجر تبعها من قدام أو من وراء لحمايتها أثناء التنقل من أي اعتداء. مكان وضع الشعار بتحدد السلطة المختصة، يعني إذا ببلدية بتحدد تحطه هون او هونيك بشكل يكون منظور، والاثارات اللي تابعه لوزاره الثقافه اكيد في ناس مكلفين ياخذوا القرار انه هذا الشعار مثلا قلعه بعلبك المفروض ينحط بمحل عالي ويبين على كل العالم، مش ينحط على الارض بداخل القلعه مبعوث القعود ينفع بالمره، لازم من برا اللي من برا يشوفوا ان كان عسكري او غير عسكري يعرف انه هذا ممتلك ثقافي. هلا في اشياء بالمنطق السليم بتقول ايه معروفه انا تبعلق، طيب اذا باخذك انا بمشيك بمحلات في شوارع اثريه او طاحونه مي قديمه او اللي بدكم اياها، الاشياء هذه كلها ممتلكات